Okay, that was Mob Psycho Season 3, Episode 1. I have a lot to say.
Ooh, go ahead and say it then.
So...
Speak your truth.
The first thing that comes to mind is at the end of the episode, but... So we can go through, like, how the episode progressed, you know, start to finish, so I'll touch on that later. But the thing I want to say from the get-go is, for some reason, I'm very attached to this series, and for some reason, since I heard that there was going to be a Season 3, while I was in the middle of Season 2, I started being afraid and scared because there have been a few shows that I like or have heard of that had been ongoing and then got a recent season or a season made during the time of the pandemic or just in recent years, and it, for one reason or another, couldn't hold up to the same type of art style or quality of animation, and unfortunately that can affect me as a viewer, and that's a fault of my own. But watching that finished work and to just see right off the bat, Season 3, Episode 1, the art looks better than ever. Like, the characters are true to design, the colors are great, the shading's great. Like, I was just really happy to be here right from the start of the episode.
I felt completely immersed and just immediately right back into it. It did a good job at, I would say that's one of, like, the pluses to this show, is they do a really great job at first episodes of seasons to, like, get you back into the storyline and where we currently are. And the emotions we're feeling and getting you excited and me excited.
I loved the intro, which is another thing that I was like,
I want to watch it so many times.
Dude, I know, me too. I want to watch it again right now. But that was another thing. It's like those are big shoes to fill, you know? And they managed to do it, and I loved it.
I mean, it's always been, like, really loud.
Yeah.
In, like, a amazing way. But this was, like, epic. Like, it kind of felt like it was the first song played at the concert by, like, the leading band, you know, to get everyone in the audience being like, yeah, we're here to see this band and this is their, like, banger, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it felt, that, like, opening.
For me, it felt like it was the first opening mixed with the second opening, like, to a perfect degree. And, like, it, like, kind of went with the whole idea and theme of emotions and laying more heavy into the show and how weird it gets in that way.
And, like, things are so consistently tying into one another. Like, the openings from Season 1 and Season 2 had elements that we never saw in those particular seasons. But then, and images, and then we see them later on, and that's the same thing with that first opening, kind of spirits and, you know, evil spirits opening, where it shows the different psychics and introduces kind of the theme of the world we're in. And we are learning who each of those psychics are slowly but surely in that beginning. And it replays for each season. And it's so exciting to, like, see that same repeated image, but know, like, oh my gosh, okay, we've met those two in Season 1, and then we met those two in Season 2, and now I wonder when we're going to meet the other one.
We're getting something new out of it every time, which is nice.
Yes.
So, like, starting the episode, we had, I guess, just, like, a pretty decent reintroduction to the characters, reminding us that Serizawa is working there. He's also psychic, you know, giving some goofs and gaffes to us, but then it quickly turns into that whole career side of things, which I'd say is a pretty realistic next step for Mob as a character to face.
Think about his future.
Yeah.
He's already decided how he wants to be living as himself within himself and how he's seen by others. But then life choices and important decisions. It's something he said in his battle with Suzuki at the very end of last season, that there are important choices to be made, and this is one of those crossroads. You know, he sees all the paths in front of him, and he's scared to make a mistake.
Yeah. He now has people to talk to about it too. Like he has so many friends and people to talk to about their own futures, to get an idea, and just if they know what they're doing, to see if Mob's the only one who doesn't know, if it's okay. Hey, I mean, I know for sure when I was getting ready to go to college myself, I was like, there were a lot of people who knew exactly what they were going to do, and I wasn't really sure. Like, I was like, there's nothing, is something wrong with me? There should be something sticking out to me that I should go to, you know?
Or you're the type of person who goes into it with a path in mind, and then they end up never doing the thing that they went to school for.
And it's funny that it even affected Dimple, the idea of what you're going to do.
What are you doing with your future? He's like, you're asking an evil spirit that? That's ruthless.
But we saw it ourselves that Dimple did have a plan going forward a while ago.
That was his goal.
And to us, like, we haven't forgotten about it. I don't think he actually did. But it
definitely wasn't in the forefront of his mind anymore.
Yeah.
Because he was so focused on what is Shigeo up to and kind of Shigeo's life. It's like he realized in that moment that his entire life can't just be, ooh, which girl is Shigeo talking to right now?
Yeah.
You know, that can't be his whole life or his whole afterlife.
I don't know if this is actually trying to tell me to expect Dimple as some serious type of foe, but if it does go in that direction, part of me thinks it's just a thing that Dimple's trying to come to terms with too. Mm-hmm. That being what is he without Mob now? You know?
I think he might take advantage of, Masato kind of put it into play with proclaiming the broccoli as part of the Psycho Helmet religion's icon doing this.
Yeah.
And I think Dimple might take advantage of this giant broccoli and kind of put himself forward as being the person that created it.
Yeah.
Or the spirit that created it in order to get that attention that he was getting before. But I don't see that as being horribly malicious.
I agree. Do you think that it seems like we built like a carnival around the broccoli? Do you think that any governing state has started to monetize like broccoli rides? Do we have like broccoli themed t-shirts?
A roller coaster going through the broccoli?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're not like trying to eat it.
Yeah.
No one has tasted it and said how horrible it tasted, and I'm surprised by that.
It would taste horrible. We know that. What'd you think of the last bit?
Do you mean the man that had created the wraith above his house?
Yeah.
I liked it because I think that it is awesome to have both evil spirits and the idea of haunted things and things like that, like otherworldly kind of explanations for things, and then to have kind of the psyche of the man, you know, creating this thing. We've already seen like more subtle examples of that. I would say that this wraith was definitely more powerful than the guy that was peeping on his neighbor.
Yeah.
But I like that you have both of those things because it definitely shows that even if this person can't directly do psychic things like telekinesis or anything like Mob can do, the power of the mind is even a normal non-psychic person is scary.
Yeah. Did you like the idea, like, okay, so last season we had two things playing, which was the plants and the leaving your own body and like what would you call it? Leaving like your like.
Oh my gosh, what is it called? Out of body.
Yeah.
It wasn't an out of. That's not the word.
It was that happening though, like projecting yourself or whatever. We had both of those things come back later into the season. Do you think that this wraith thing will come back?
I think it's safe to say any of those things, curses, all of those things, it's safe to say will probably maybe come back. Probably maybe. Did
you see what I pulled up on the screen?
Yeah, you pulled up, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
You pulled up what is outside of the broccoli now.
It's Mob.
It's Mob's face, yeah.
It's great. I love it. The moment that I'm really trying to look for right now, though, that I can't remember for the life of me what part of the episode it is, was talking about to like what I had written down was, again in this show we're alluding to Mob's introspection of him causing something, of something to happen.
I think it was when he was thinking about all of the paths that are in front of him that he could take.
Do you remember where that
make
was?
A big mistake. I believe it was right after they left the man's house and he was telling Reagan and Sarazawa that he also related to the man.
Okay, just We can check here.
Yeah, here it is.
Yes, it was here. Okay, good call. Because this was something I totally wanted to talk about because it's something that we've heard time and time again from Mob. And like a really, like, he's aware of it. It's very hard to be aware of your own self-destructive tendencies.
Yeah.
And Mob totally is. It hit too close to home for him. He said that he just hasn't made a huge mistake yet, but that moment may arrive someday.
And a huge mistake on Mob scale could be world-ending.
Well, like, last episode, very early on, I believe, we had the whole Mob thinking if he ever chose to go down the wrong path, who would be there to stop him? And we obviously have him smiling during the fight and having to be reminded of and not get lost in that power by looking at Ritsu. We have his memory with Ritsu and what he did after he went unconscious. Like, I wonder if they're setting us up for that inevitability of him having to be stopped or come to fight what he's scared of.
Part of me feels a little bit safer in that regard, with the fact that Sho's father is still alive.
Yeah.
Because I believe that if Sho's father hadn't been driven to the point of losing control because he was so motivated in his goals with what he was doing, I think he could be a good kind of battle partner to a Mob that's losing control.
Yeah.
I also think that it's possible that Ritsu could grow to be somewhat of like the person that keeps Mob, even keel, balanced.
I think that they could write it going forward with it either being a big moment for Dimple or it could be Mogami coming back. I just wrote down
Mogami on my paper. I mean, Mogami is not gone. Mogami is definitely not gone.
Mogami could be a person, if Mob was ever on the edge about to lose himself, being like, I actually did have like faith in you after seeing the strength that you're showing, like don't lose now.
Yeah,
or it could be the opposite. It could be trying to be the thing to push him over and Dimple saves him.
We don't know what Mogami's exact desires are at this point at the moment. But I do think that it can be said that Mogami is intrigued by Mob and whatever choices Mob might make. And if Mob walks down the same path,
he's watching.
He's observant to this.
One other thing I wanted to touch on, again, very protective of the show, and I love it. And just like, I don't know if protective is the right word. I want it to keep being as good as I see it, and like it being as like perfect and be like I just love seeing it be as good as I know it is. And the way that they handled the end of the episode, it would have been such a backtrack if Reagan acted any other way. It would have undone all of the growth that it's not that deep, but like it would have hurt a little bit to see Reagan not respond in the way that he did after the Reagan and Mob episodes from last season.
I think it needed them to go through their separation, and I think Serizawa being there also really helps with Reagan handling that well.
I'm scared where Dimple's going, though. They obviously made a choice with how little and where they decided to use his character, but in this episode. But yeah, I'm excited for next week.
Me too. I'm really excited.
You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time. Those are big shoes to fill, Those are big shoes to fill, Those are big shoes to fill,
Those are big shoes to fill,